Hello and welcome to the first part of my slideshow here on bank reconciliations. I'm just going to try that again. Okay, so this is the first part, and I would probably suggest that you download the PowerPoint from Moodle so that you can, if you wanted to, just add some extra notes to the PowerPoint in the notes section based on what I'm going to go through. Okay, so bank reconciliations are a strategy used by businesses to assist in their control over their cash holdings. So it's one of many controls over cash. And the first point probably at which we should start is to just affirm with you that businesses obviously keep a record of the movement of cash, and this record is based on dividing that record into both cash receipts and cash payments. So when the business receives cash, it's going to record that transaction, those individual transactions, through the cash receipts journal. When the business pays cash out, those transactions will be recorded through the cash payments journal. And each of these journals are going to affect then the business's cash at bank account in their ledger. Now that bank account is an asset that the business holds, and it is an asset because this particular account is recording how much cash the business has in the bank. All cash received will increase the bank account, all cash paid by the business will decrease it. Now, at the same time, because this cash is being deposited when cash is received into the bank and withdrawn when cash is paid from the bank is also going to be keeping a record of this movement. So whenever cash is deposited into the bank by the business, those deposits, along with any withdrawals that the business makes in the form of checks, will be recorded in the bank's records as well, and the bank will produce periodically that record for the business in the form of a bank statement. So banks traditionally would have sent bank statements out weekly, monthly, daily, but now with a lot of businesses going online to do their banking, those bank statements can be accessed every minute of the day. Okay, so we need to be certain here that when we are doing our prac work, that we'll be dealing with cash receipts journals, cash payments journals, bank accounts in the business's records, and also these bank statements. And you need to have clear in your mind that that bank statement is a copy of the business's account with the bank from the bank's perspective. And it's important to have that clear because the bank is recording that information from their perspective. So let's put ourselves in the bank's shoes. So you're the banker, you're accepting these deposits from this business, you're holding this money for this business. Eventually you will have to pay that money back. So in essence, you owe that business back the money that business is depositing with you. And for that reason, you look upon that business as a liability because you owe that money back. So let's put ourselves back into the business's shoes. So, sorry, let's just keep going from the bank's perspective. So that when the business deposits that cash into the bank, you as the banker would record that cash being deposited and you would credit that business's account with you because you owe that money back. When the business writes checks and those checks are cleared and the money is transferred out of the business's account, you, the banker, will debit that business's account because you are paying back that liability that is owed. So therefore, what we've just seen here is that both the business and the bank maintain these records of the same situation, maintains a record of the business's cash movement into and out of its bank account. The business keeps a record of it, the bank keeps a record of it. And because when you're in business and you receive that bank statement, you look upon that bank statement as an independent verification of your business's cash position. And as such, it is an opportunity for that business to take advantage of that and to use it as a control. So we need to acknowledge that both sets of records are maintaining the same information about the same situation, this cash position, but although it's about the same position, the same cash position, they're not going to match. And they're not going to match, those two records aren't going to match because differences will occur. So if you were to get your bank statement at the end of the month and that bank statement at the very bottom says the balance in your bank account from the bank's point of view is $1,000, that is not necessarily going to agree with your records. Your bank account may say something completely different. Your bank account may say that you have $1,100 in the bank. So here's the reason why we use it as a control feature. We need to get to the bottom of it. Why is it that the business thinks that we have $100 more in the bank than the bank does? So we need to reconcile these two statements. We need to reconcile the business's position with the bank's position. And that is the process of bank reconciliation. And that brings me to the end of our first part.